Good afternoon and welcome to the February 8th edition of Partner First, where we will be going over what we do every time at Partner First. We cover subject matter experts, vendors of note, thought leaders in the space. Today is absolutely no different. Today, we're going to be talking about communicating cybersecurity programs that generate demand. It's cybersecurity is at the top of almost, if it's not chat gpt, it's cybersecurity and insurance. So like those are the top three conversation items for the last several months. Cybersecurity probably takes it for the last several years. And we're finally going to get some answers with some subject matter experts. I want to invite you, just reminding you as housekeeping, this is streamed live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. The recordings are available immediately after on all same of the places. This is not death by PowerPoint. This is a collaborative, cooperative chat. So use the chat, talk to us, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, chat with us. We'll chat right back and answer some of the questions live. And with that, please help me welcoming Mr. Jimmy Hatzell, VP of Revenue for Quickpass. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Not much, Ray. How are you?
It's another beautiful day. I can't complain. A little bit of chaos here at the office, so I apologize for coming in a little late in the green room. But
No, all
good.
good.
You know, every day is a good day, right?
Yeah, it's funny, the we're on here ready to go, but the reality of it is the two of us have been trying to schedule a meeting with each other for like the past month and a half and keep, pushing on it. Like I got, keep missing it, flight changes, all this, and then here we are, 1 minute before the webinar, getting ready to go.
That's what happens before whatchamacallit. That's what happens when like you have two people that are nonstop crazy busy, and you're kind of out everywhere. I know you recently took a brief time off because you need to, right? Because like it's just nonstop. But tell us, like, how long have you been at Quickpass now? Because
yeah, I've been at Quickpass for a year, a little over a year now. It feels like 10.
Yeah,
When I
time flies,
started,
right?
come again?
Time flies, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, when I started, like we did a partner first webinar about a year ago now.
Yeah.
There was we had like 10, 12 people at the time. Now we're solid like 50 people, totally different company. I was,
Nice.
the one man team over there. And now we have some awesome people join. Jared, who helped organize this, and Cynthia Schreiner, Scott Davis, people who see out the shows, and even Kelsey. I don't know if she was here the last time we did this. So we're rocking and rolling now.
I saw Kelsey for the first time as Quickpass at seven figure, I want to say, last year. So yeah, and some of my favorite people. Cynthia Schreiner will be on she's our Valentine's girl for Tech Bar. She'll be on with us next Thursday. So
that's good. You better buy her some chocolates or something, man. Definitely.
Oh, we got some stuff.
Right.
We're taking care of her, man. We know we're all about romance and taking care of people here at MMN. So absolutely, she'll be taken care of. She's this will be her. What is it, Simon? Her third round as third round is Tech Bar Valentine. But that's the fun stuff. Let's get into the business and revenue generating stuff. That's the important stuff, right? Like, forget everything else. It's the money. I want the money.
Yeah.
So what is this we're doing here, man? What is you want me to bring up your screen share, or how do you want to?
Yeah. I'll bring up the screen share. I think and just I'm on one screen, so if, this is all I can see right now.
We're making faces at you, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm sure Simon and Matthew are back there send me instructions that I'm actually sharing like my personal photos or something like that.
We'll let you know if we see passwords or anything.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I my job is VP of Revenue. What that means, it's a fancy way of saying sales and marketing, I guess. So I live and die in sales and marketing, and I work with MSPs every day on helping them, sell cybersecurity. I did that in my last role. I do that in this role. And I think a lot of people miss on a lot of different things. I think you're really good at these things though. So I'm super excited that we're on this together.
Same, dude.
Yeah. So basically I just want to take everyone through the funnel. You have demand gen and then demand capture and selling and closing. And this funnel might look different for different people. You know, you might have like, it's a lead and then it's a, you know, qualifying and a proposal and then whatever. I'm just breaking it up into these 4 stages to, you know, because it's easier and it's easier to bucket things. But I think that there is I think people skip this demand gen part. And I was talking to a lot of people about this. Even before this, you know, I was talking with Matthew Fox about it. Like, people, all they want is like a list of names or like, you know, someone to call or someone, like they just want the lead, right? Which is really like the second part of it. Like, you need to be out there generating demand or having people sort of know who you are before like they reach out to you or you get their contact information or whatever it is. Without this, you know, top piece of it and top piece of the funnel, as an MSP, you're going to end up with expensive PPC budget that, you know, isn't converting, a list of 10, 20,000 businesses in your area that you have to call, and maybe you sign up 5 of them if you're good at it, or just, you know, like spam form fills on your website that you're calling, and like it's, you know, fu at fu.com.
At gmail.com.ru. Let me ask you a quick. So let's. I had a good friend that tells me in academic papers, never talk about the thing until you explain the thing. So if you don't mind, I know you and I are old hats at this, and let's be honest, probably the people watching already know this, but for the sake of the people that aren't aware, when we're talking cybersecurity, what are we referring to here?
We are referring to all of the process of protecting people's information and data. That's cybersecurity. So that it means all your cybersecurity products. It means all of your professional services related to cybersecurity. I mean, I think if you're an MSP now, like the days of being IT only and not touching cybersecurity are just gone. Like, it's not really a thing anymore. So everyone has to do cybersecurity. In this presentation, I'm going to sort of get to, or, you know, spoiler alert, right? Like, you need to be cybersecurity first. You need to be really good at positioning yourself as a cybersecurity thought leader, and productizing your services in a way that, you know, they make sense in the context of cybersecurity. So,
Okay. So we're not in the days anymore of like the MSP can say, I don't need to worry about security. That's somebody else's job.
no.
Like I'd love to do that. Like, you know, I used to be an MSP as many as you know. And like people ask me today, like if you were going to start an MSP today, what would you do? And I'd be like, I'd find something else to do. There's so much liability today. It is so much work. My hat's off. I was wearing a hat. It's off to the MSPs that have to deal with this on a regular basis. Um, you know, so okay. So now that we know what cybersecurity is, we're talking how to make some money. It all starts with the demand gen. It all starts with getting that word out, getting them to like get all psyched up and excited about whatever we're selling, right? Is that top of the funnel?
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of people, you know, make a mistake here. They mistake demand gen um, for lead gen, right? Like, lead gen is
Okay.
the sort of funnel that everyone's been running for a long time. The thought leaders in this space, if you're, you know, you're out on YouTube listening or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, you want to look up Refine Labs and Chris Walker. And they are sort of like the B2B thought leaders on demand gen versus lead gen, and sort of the new way of selling where it's less focused on, let me get a bunch of names, right? Like leads, right? People who download my ebook or people who take my form or whatever, and then call them as much as possible. Where demand gen is about it's about creating demand, creating good quality content, and being less concerned about how many people filled the form and how many people you have in your CRM and SEO and PPC and all of that. And focusing on making really good content and being a really good thought leader. And I'm going to break down in the context of an MSP how you can do that, and sort of talk to you about that as well. I think like
Okay.
lead gen in its historical sense of how people think about it is really that next stage, which is demand capture, like actually getting someone's information, initiating the conversation. So I think most people who talk about demand gen are actually talking about lead gen, and there is like a big difference between the two on how you go about things. Like if like you have your MSP website, maybe you have a bunch of guides on there or blogs or information or videos. Like in the old lead gen model, everyone would tell you to go and gate them and require someone to submit their email or whatever to view it. But from a demand gen point of view, you would just give away as much as possible, and then you have a calendar link or whatever on your website and make it super easy if someone's ready to reach out and have a conversation.
So you're saying we're not completely crazy by not requiring registration to watch these webinars, right?
No, I'm saying you are 100% on it. This is like someone signing up for your webinar about creating cybersecurity programs that generate demand isn't an indicator that like, hey, they're ready to talk to my sales team. Right?
I'd like to think it was, but yeah, no. So, but that's interesting because I honestly never looked at the differences between lead gen and demand gen. So I absolutely would have fallen into that. So it's cool. Okay, I learned something new today. I'm done. Have a great day, everybody. It's all right. So we know demand gen. So what's next?
So like, how do you do it as an MSP? And I took my friend Ross here and I kind of threw him up here because I think he's really, really good at it. We're on, streaming on YouTube right now. So, I'm taking video and social media as the first two. Like you are trying to position yourself as the thought leader for cybersecurity for your customers. That means everything cybersecurity. It's not, MFA and like there's a tendency to just be like, hey, here, best practice, MFA and strong passwords, and that's all we talk about. Like your customers, they want to they don't really differentiate between like, oh, you're my thought leader for cybersecurity related to my business only, right? If you are an MSP and you're selling us managed cybersecurity and managed technology, like you're the person, like through conversations, they're going to be like, hey, like, is my home Wi-Fi network secure? And maybe that's not in scope. Maybe that's not what you do for your business, and that's not what you're selling. But if you want to position yourself as a thought leader and make valuable content that your potential customers in your area or whoever you're targeting want to consume, like you got to talk about that stuff. So social media is another big, right? Yeah. I mean, Ray, you were always, on video, even in your MSP days and OIT, like you guys know how to do this. So I commend you for that. But it's a huge opportunity. And I just think most people aren't doing it. So the barrier to entry is pretty low, especially around cybersecurity, especially in managed services. Like, look at your vendor, what the MSPs are using. Almost all of them are creating video, or maybe a lot of them, at least, Quickpass and OIT are. But when you look at your peers and people in your peer group, like there's going to be like a lot less people doing it. And, like smaller businesses generally, MSP owners tend to be introverted, tend to be very technical. So maybe they're not as comfortable putting themselves out there. Maybe I'm generalizing there and I shouldn't do that.
No, but look, not everybody, you and I are on camera 24/7 almost. I mean, it's almost like an episode of Big Brother. But like, no, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people when we go to like record promos or record other partner first, like they get very nervous, I guess. Like, it's one thing you ask them to talk in person. You and I know because we go to events, we go talk to people networking, and these MSPs will tell you they will wax poetic about what they do because they genuinely have passion for it. But then you say, get on stage and talk to 50 people, 50 attorneys about this. And it's like deer in headlights. And honestly, I want to put it out there. I'm not going to speak for Jimmy. I'll speak for myself. I still get nervous before getting on these things. Like I've done thousands and I still get nervous. It's just, you suck it up and keep going,
I mean, I do too. Like if we get on stage, I always get shortness of breath and I take a bunch of deep breaths before I go on stage every time.
We all
And
have our little tricks. Maybe that's something we'll cover another day, talking about our little tricks of like how we psych ourselves up to get, go talk on stage.
I love that. Simon, get it scheduled. Jared, work on, yeah, let's get going. I think social media too, for me, a big one is LinkedIn. A lot of MSPs are on LinkedIn, and that's, who I'm working with, but I think a lot of just customers in general are. And, it's a little cliche, but at this point, but even just posting anything on LinkedIn, like most people aren't doing that. So if all of a sudden you take once a week and now you can actually schedule posts right in LinkedIn. So you take once a week and you schedule out, 5 posts or 7 posts for the week. Like it's pretty simple and pretty easy, and just try to get started. Like I think you're going to have an edge there just from that. Similar to that, like, you've gotten the same advice everywhere. Make sure your Google My Business profile set up properly. Make sure you have pictures, reviews. Maybe if you're working in a small town, there's a town Facebook group where people are asking questions. You can go and respond and say, hey, I work, I own the local IT company, and we work with businesses, but here's how you do XYZ. Finding exactly what you do is less important, and you'll figure that out as you go. But just embracing it and getting started and getting going is the important thing there.
Is there a certain platform you find is easier for you as a creator to do stuff on, or does it even matter?
I mean, I have the biggest following on LinkedIn. I like it because it's professional, and I like, um, uh, it's like, from a business standpoint, one LinkedIn follower is probably worth like, 20 TikTok and 10 Instagram. I don't know. I think YouTube's a good one too. I know you guys are really, really, really good at that, which is great. Like you'll find sort of where you fit in well. The key thing is just getting started. Like maybe it's Instagram. Like maybe, I know some MSPs who are posting Instagram reels and they're generating business from it. Mary Hamlin at Mad Data, like she was that's how she's, getting word out there. And she's just saying like basic stuff about cybersecurity and just putting content out there. I mean, the reality of it is, like, if you are an MSP sub 5 million, right, or sub 2 million, maybe, your customer base is your network, right? It's your friends, it's your family, and it's their friends and their family, and it's their, the people you worked with at old companies and stuff. Like you're pretty not that far removed from your customers. So any social media network that you're connected with these people, even if you make a separate business profile, like you're going to reach them. And these are your current customers and these are your prospective customers. And I think people are generally supportive too. Like people like entrepreneurs and people like to see small businesses succeed. So, putting yourself out there on social media, whether that's LinkedIn, Instagram, hell, even TikTok or YouTube, whatever it is, like you'd be surprised that people are very quick to support you and, reshare it or send it to a friend or whatever. So I guess words of encouragement there, like go out and do it. Just try it. What's the worst that can
Yeah, I
happen?
mean, it's one of those things where, you get comfortable on something, you keep doing it. But I agree with you 100%. Your local network of peers, and it doesn't have to be local, physically local, just the people you engage with regularly are going to be the people to share, to engage with you, maybe refer somebody else. The whole idea is to get them, have you top of mind when somebody asks for a referral or somebody thinks about a certain topic, right? Like they want to think, you want them thinking of you for that solution.
Yeah, and this goes into like the next two things, like like Chamber of Commerce or similar things, right? Like your local Rotary, your local Small Business Association, your local whatever it is, anywhere where you can get out there and interact with people. Like that is a place where just give and you will receive, and you don't have to go in and try to get business cards and convert everyone. Like switch the mindset to this demand gen mindset versus lead gen mindset in like digital, but also in real life. Like if you go out there into your community as, you know, a cybersecurity and IT professional, and you just start to give, you will receive. And I mean, like, you know, volunteer at the local event, whatever it is. Like, there's probably something. Help with IT resources for these things. Give where you can. Like that also like has to. That's community demand and chamber of commerce are both those things. And what the reason you see genuine people who like to do good succeeding so much is because of that, you know, go-giver attitude, right? They talk about that in peer books and in peer groups, and that's a, you know, very
Actually,
popular.
Go Giver is a great book. Right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
something a bunch of us
exactly.
have
It's a
read.
great
Yeah.
book, right? like
But,
like
you know, and that brings up a good point. You're one of the things I mean, I do a lot of, I'm not, I don't want to, it sounds egotistical. I do a lot of philanthropic stuff. So like advisory councils on high schools and colleges and, you know, helping with it, you know, educational programs when it comes to technology and whatever. Um, but that's all. I mean, I do it because I genuinely enjoy doing it, but it also has a side effect of you're the go-to person, you know, from now this giant circle of people. And everybody either works at a business or maybe owns a business. And these are the people you want to be in front of. If you're an MSP, right? You want to be in front of your audience. So all these things help.
Yeah, and I think going, you know, with that, like I have a referral program in there. Like, you can't be scared to ask for help and ask for referrals for your business, because people generally want to help you and they want you to succeed, especially if you are a smaller MSP. You know, you work with their business, you say, hey, you know, Ray, we've been working together for a while. I have this, you know, referral program where, you know, I actually will pay you or give you this discount on your bill, or it doesn't even have to be anything. Like, you can just ask for it honestly. I think it's a little, you know, you'll probably get a little more if you if you pay something or give away like a nice jacket or something nice like that. But if, like, it's the network effect of things, and you know, social media generates referral and community demand generates referrals. Like, you're more likely to get new customers from your current customers recommending you than you are for dumping a bunch of money into ads and, you know, those types of things. And it's funny, like I have these conversations with MSPs all the time, and I'm like, where are you getting all your leads from? Where are you getting new customers from? And they go, oh well, 98% of our business is referrals. It's like, okay, that's great. It's amazing. You've had great growth over the past, you know, you add a couple clients. You were up to one client a month last year. That's amazing. Okay. So what are you doing for your marketing plan this year? And they're like, oh yeah. So we hired this SEO company, and then we hired, you know, we're spending all this money on Google ads, and then we bought a list here. And it's like, okay, you just told me a second ago that all of your business comes from referral, but then you're trying to sign up new, instead of trying to amplify that with things like, you know, social media, referral programs, doubling down on your audience, you know, interacting with the people you already know. You're going and trying to, you know, drum up new leads on Google and pay-per-click and ads and all of that. Like, I think the mindset is just like, you can scale referrals and referral-based business through social media and doing good in your community.
And it's cheaper, right? The
Way
cost of
cheaper.
acquisition is so much cheaper when it's coming from, you know, think of the difference between I saw a, you know, a lead gen or a lead magnet on a website and they wanted me to download something and whatever. And like you said, that doesn't, just because they downloaded it just doesn't mean they're interested. And your costs for that versus somebody telling, hey, look, I know you need this service. My buddy Jimmy's really good at this. Why don't you talk to him? Now, the whole building a rapport part, getting past the gatekeeper part, like that's gold. That is so much better than any. I mean, I'm not saying don't do ad campaigns if you don't, if you know how to do them or you have a partner. I'm not saying don't do them. I'm saying squeeze the lemon first, squeeze your network first.
Yeah, and then, you know, that gets to the next stage. Like, and we talked about this a little bit, but like your company is your brand for most MSPs, especially smaller MSPs. Like, they're doing business with Ray, right? Ray's their IT person. Ray owns the company. That's who I trust, and that's why I'm going with this business. And that's just the reality of it in most cases, especially if you have, less than 10, 15 employees in your company.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you need to be a thought leader, you need to be a trusted advisor, you need to establish credibility, all of these things. So like, think of it very in simplest terms. And this is like a positioning exercise. When your potential customer or anyone thinks of cybersecurity, you want them to think of you. Right. So that's why I bring up the router issue, right? Or like
Yeah.
kids on like if your kids are doing whatever on they're on TikTok and you think China might be spying or something, like if Ray is trying to sell them managed services, I want that person thinking, man, I wonder what Ray thinks about all this. I'm gonna ask him next time I see him on
Yeah.
cybersecurity of iPhones and TikTok, even though that has nothing to do with the services that you'd be selling in your MSP, like zero. Like you're not selling home
Yeah, but
services.
you want them coming to you for advice. You want them coming to you because they trust you. Even if it's coming to you because you're the going back to the go-giver, even if you're the one that connects them with the other party that is that subject matter expert, you're still increasing your own credibility because you're showing the person you're the resource, you're the go-to person.
Exactly. And I think like a lot of MSPs will hesitate here, want to hire a marketing person or not get out there and be the face of their company. It can feel weird. It can feel like egotistical, or, you can have a lot of anxiety around it. But I just highly encourage people, because your brand is your reputation, your company brand is your reputation. Like, it's going to make a difference. So you yourself getting out there versus somebody else in your company, if you're the business owner, like, that's it. Got to be doing that.
What do you have any tips for, like, as far as like the amount of length, the time they should be doing something when they're creating content? Should it be like, 1,400 word white paper, or, quick blog posts, some thought leadership, a quick video? Like, what's the format you think works best
Yeah, I
if you're
mean,
getting started?
yeah, I think just getting stuff out there. I think video is pretty easy. Like, take an iPhone and just, it doesn't have to be super polished. You can just point and shoot an iPhone and like get started with that. Just write about what you know about. So I tell people this, right? Take 4 topics that um, home secure, personal security, right? And then business security, future of security trends, and then something personal, right? So 3 business ones, and then something personal, like movies, right? That is your guide. So you have 4 areas of topics. So the first one's personal security, right? Home network, updating your router, right? There's one piece of content. You can create a video, or you can write a post about it. Updating your iPhone to the latest version, and the importance of having your software up to date, right? There's a second one. And you can sort of go down the list for that. Okay, business, right? MFA, how to set it up, why it's important, having a strong password, right? These are the 2 that I was joking about before, because everyone just goes right to these 2 things.
Yeah.
And then, keep going. And then even like, you got to humanize yourself too. So if movies or TV or film, whatever it is, like, oh my God, The Last of Us is amazing. I liked it because of Pedro Pascal, and he's just like the coolest guy ever, and blah, 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 blah. Like, 3 bullet points under those 4 things is 12 different topics that you can talk about, and then,
Yep.
make 3 for each topic, right? And then all of a sudden you have
I mean,
36 posts, right? So there can be
I don't know
36
about
videos.
you. I've been talking about nonstop about Chat GPT lately, and it's not like I'm not an AI expert. I'm not an ML expert. I'm definitely not a marketing copy or putting words together expert. But it's part of almost a daily conversation at this point.
I
And
literally
people
just
engage
got
with
off a
that.
LinkedIn Live with Juan Fernandez talking about ChatGPT.
I say when we do the next one of these, we just do it all from Chat GPT responses. We'll just use it like a
Yeah.
teleprompter, and we'll just see how it goes from there.
Or you have to read what I put in there, like an Impractical Jokers type situation.
Oh, really? Oh no.
We can do it
I got
that
to go
way.
back and watch that. Actually, I'm seeing Juan next week at or a couple weeks from now. Come to you. Good guy. So I wanted to bring up whatchamacallit, I want to bring up you dog fooding your own advice, right? You're not just saying, "Oh, there's some good ideas." You used to do these. I don't want to misname it, but it was like a Jimmy on the streets kind of videos. I used to love
Midnight
these, right?
marketing,
Matt, can you
midnight
bring them up?
marketing. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, the midnight marketing, just walking through the streets and covering it. And honestly, that's when I first fell in love with your marketing style, because like I saw those and I'm like, this is freaking amazing. I love this. It's interesting, right? What was the I mean, not to get too far into it, but like what was the process like? Like how'd you come up with the idea? Did you determine like a schedule of how often to record? Like what was your process for this?
Yeah, I thank you, by the way. I wasn't getting enough steps in, and I like to get more steps. And it was like April or May, and it was like a nice time of year. So I was just going for walks at night. And then I was like, hey, what if I like recorded some video while I'm out here? Like that might be cool. So I just picked a topic each day and, you know, talked about it while I was recording. And also I had bought a new camera around the time too. So I was messing around with that a little bit.
Mhm.
And just putting it out there and seeing where it got me. But really just I would pick one topic and then go out, talk about it, come back, cut it out, post it, and try to do it as fast as possible. That's like now I have, Descript and all this stuff, and I can like turn out a video in like 20 minutes, like record, edit, post in 20 minutes. And it's
It takes a minute to get there. It's not
yeah.
yeah, finding your voice and finding the format you want to do. But I think the a major takeaway here for those people we're trying to convince to go become those subject matter experts, go create some content, is don't worry about perfect. Do something
Yeah.
quickly, get it out there. You'll iterate over time, right? Like, you brought this up yourself. I mean,
100%.
like you said, I think we're doing a decent job on YouTube, like creating content. But if you look at our content from 4 years ago, or even 12 months ago to today, all of our shows have like iterated over and over and over again. And it's fantastic. Like it's great. And it's fun to go back and look at the old stuff. But the point is, if I waited for perfect, we never would have gotten anything out.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. Just start doing. You're ahead of 90% of people if you're actually doing something.
So how often were you recording? I know you were trying to get your steps in, but how often were you actually recording content? Was there like a plan? I'm going to do this a couple times a week. What was the plan?
It was a once a week thing. It was a once a week thing because I think it started Midnight Marketing Mondays, and then the Triple M, and it was a once a week thing for a little while there.
Yeah, I say that because I know the actual cadence doesn't matter, and it's just a matter of going and doing it. But realizing our audience is very much, meat and potatoes. Like it's easier to visualize if you're giving them specifics. That's why I bring it up. Like even if it's once a week, just record something and plan an hour around editing, playing with it or whatever, or off. Matt's gonna hate I'm saying this, or send it off to Fiverr. No, or get somebody else to edit it if you really want to. I'm just messing with Matt today, driving him nuts with Fiverr. Which we call it. I saw that, Matt. Which we call it. But the idea is just get something out there. All right, so you got this PowerPoint. I don't want to hold you back. Go ahead, man.
No, all good. I mean, like we don't even have to follow. We can just chat too.
There you go.
But like, yeah, the next part of it is I think this is a big part of it, and it's about like aligning your services with cybersecurity. So we've been saying this for years. This isn't something new, right? Like getting rid of line items, getting rid of break fix as much as possible. But you want like whatever the name of your business is, having that plus cyber as like your core product is like do that, right? Like keep it as
Yeah.
simple as possible.
Like that's like I mean, anybody that's done this knows the really, really, really hard part is figuring out the right words to put in the description or to put in the title that's going to catch their attention, right? Don't be clickbaity, but you definitely want to grab their attention. That's the hard part. Do you have any tips around that, around figuring out like what people are looking at or what's better topics than anything else?
Yeah, there's a really great book that'll throw out there called Positioning, and there's another book by the same authors called the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, and they go through it all. And there's actually a whole section on naming and naming products and everything. But the idea of positioning is where you sit in the prospect's mind. So someone sees a word, where does that actually like sit? Is it sit, above other products and services? Does it sit below them? Like you have what's called a brand ladder. But being as descriptive, like as matter of fact as possible is probably the best way to go. So like you say like managed cybersecurity complete, right? Or something like that. Like a service like that, like, oh, that's like a complete managed version of all of the cybersecurity that I'm going to need for my business. Like that's
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a good place to start. Once you start building like a brand and really like people know it, like, keep talking about Matthew Fox here, he used to work at Valiant and was a creative director there. Like they were amazing at this stuff. And like all of the way that they named things and presented things was like really, really exceptional. Like you can get there eventually. You don't need to get there right away. But they always talked about like doing things the Valiant way, like the best way possible. So like you the name of your company and the name of your products, you want it to just like someone walking off the street, what do they think about it when they see that? How does that click for them? And that's going to eliminate most questions down the line on why do I need this? Why do I need that? Why do I need this? So I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, it does. And for those that are interested in the book, it is the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Rees and Jake Trout. And I will put the link in the chat, and we'll make sure it's in the show notes for
yeah,
anybody who
and
wants to go over
Positioning
there and
too by the
go
same
check it out.
authors.
And what was the other one?
Positioning by the same authors.
Positioning. Okay. Yeah.
It's a good
So,
read. It's like, they're like Mad Men type people, like crazy Madison Avenue, from the show Mad Men. They're like those type of guys.
mhm.
So
Yeah. I don't drink enough alcohol to be to be like the guys on Mad Men, but yeah, I'm actually catching up on it. I'm probably the one person on the planet that hasn't seen it to
oh,
completion
really?
yet. Yeah.
Then you definitely need to read it because. All right, so let's keep going here. Another thing is like capturing demand, and I think this is what people think of when they think of demand gen or lead gen. Like they just think about this capturing part of it. So you need to have a good website. Like we could do a whole webinar on that, and talking about the things you need. You need to be ready to respond to referrals, so you need to have like a process for it. If you're putting a lot out there on social media, you need to be ready to respond. If you're doing ads, like think of them as demand capture, not demand gen ads. So if like, for example, if you are doing a lot in your community and then, business owners in your community get to know you, a demand capture ad would be, targeting businesses in your area where they actually do fill out that form or actually book a meeting with you or whatever your sales process is. But the key of that is they're not hearing about your company for the first time when they're seeing this ad. The days of that are kind of over. Like it's very, very difficult for that unless you're a heavily commoditized service, which, people may argue that some parts of MSP are going that way. I don't think it is. Like it's a very specialized professional service. It's not like, renting a a bounce house or something like that, like someone spends 5 minutes of research, if that, to pick who they're going to buy. Like your IT cybersecurity vendor, like they want they want to know about you before they sign a contract. Yeah.
But at the
So
same time, they want somebody that's done this a couple times. Like they have a process. They're not making it up as they go along. They just want it tailored to that client. So there's a nice little line you kind of have to walk, right? Where automation good, personal service good, balancing them hard, right? Like, not to go all Tarzan and Jane on it, but it's true though. Like, and that's most of our jobs, right? We were talking on a previous call, on everything MSP on their bi-weekly call. We were talking about inactivity timeouts on desktops,
yeah.
and it was somebody brought up bringing it down to 3 minutes versus like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Or like I can see like uproar. I would be one of the ones uproaring if it was 3 minutes. So, but you can weigh pros and cons, just like anything in cybersecurity. You don't want the leash too tight, right? Because you don't want the rebels slipping through your fingers and Star Wars. But like, there's a balancing act. So, and don't get upset if you don't get it right the first time. Just like marketing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think like people overestimate the demand capture part of it and how effective it's going to be, versus the demand gen. Like if somebody needs your services and you've built that reputation as the person to go to, they're going to figure out how to reach out to you. Like you got to make sure if they fill out a form on your website, it actually goes to your email and somebody calls them. But like, the position of that form and all of these things, like it doesn't matter. And, maybe I'll get, criticized for this by web or SEO fanatics, but like it matters a little. It matters less. Like people overvalue whether the button's blue or green, when they should be overvaluing what they're talking about and how much value they're giving prospective customers. So I think
Yeah.
you need to shift in that, and we
No,
just need to.
I'm with you 100%. No question about that.
So then, they right, how to sell cyber in 5 bullet points.
There you go. And done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked
So,
about this before. Like, it's
mhm.
this at the core of it. You have 2 things to do. You need to convince someone that they have a cybersecurity problem, and you have to convince them that you are the business that is going to solve their cybersecurity problem. So, it's all, you got to make cybersecurity feel like a business problem, not like a technology problem that's out of reach. So this is all done through discovery. This is asking about their business, asking about the information systems they out, spending the time to ask them questions and really understand and come from a like concerned and helpful point of view. And really not just jumping in, like if somebody calls you and says, "Hey, I need IT and cybersecurity, how much is that going to cost me?" Like you're better off spending the time to say, well, hey, why do you need that? What systems do you need it for? What information are you trying to protect? How many users do you have? And it's a balance as always. You want to keep your process simple, and you want to be, you want to keep your prospect happy as well. But taking them on that journey and letting them, like, okay, maybe I do have a lot of data out there. Maybe I do, maybe the security of our email and the standardization of things is, important or whatever it is. And that's when you talk about, your services and you frame them in, hey, listen, you talk to me about, you're concerned about all of the data of your customers flying around via email and then stored in this server that you're not really sure how it works. We specialize in helping, businesses flesh out their process, training users to protect the security of them, locking down your email security system and putting other protective measures in place. Like that's when you go into that cybersecurity focused, business process focused conversation. And 95% of people don't do this, and they lose out on potential sales because of it. That's the secret.
And real quick, I want to apologize to the people in the chat. I realized Matt and I have been talking in the background, so I apologize if I looked a little distracted. The chat is syncing between platforms. It's just not coming up for us. So to anybody making comments in the chat, I see Glenn from Mighty Manatee. I see Ronald. So I apologize. Anyone got a good IT guy out there? We could use one. But all right, so keep it simple, focus on business problems. Please, for the love of God,
Yeah.
don't talk technology. I mean, if you could avoid acronyms, even better. You know what I mean? Yeah, and right on cue, Matt's in the chat. No acronyms. Yes, exactly. So, all right, it sounds simple, right? Anybody could sell, anybody could do this. You even said keep it simple. So it's cake, right?
Yeah, easy enough. No, it's extremely hard, but it gets easier if you, build up a good reputation for yourself and you do good things in the community. And then I think a lot of people like miss on this as well. A lot of people get interest, and a lot of MSPs get interest, and we, myself included, uh, tend to be very optimistic, right? Like we're like I joke and say like everyone in the MSP world feels like they're, like 3 days away, 3 days away from becoming a millionaire, or 2 months away from becoming a millionaire, no matter how big or small your business is. And many people have, so it's not like out of reach, but it feels like you're so close when you have these conversations, but a lot of people miss on actually closing. And, we could do a whole thing on, medic sales methodology and Sandler and like, how to close and everything. But I think like at its core, if you're an MSP, you should set goals for yourself, what you want to do for the year, what you want to do in sales, what you want to do in new business. This will help, you frame yourself, because you'll say, hey, I need to reach my goal. I'm going to reach back out to these people and, try to get these contracts finally signed. You need to build rapport with your prospects. You need to be, that trusted advisor, actually talk to them, let them actually like you. That way, when you go and you say, hey, are we going to do this or not? Are you ready to sign up? You have that rapport with them. And then, the last thing, these are combined, right? Like creating urgency. So if someone is not ready to sign up for your cybersecurity services, they're not convinced that their cybersecurity problem is big enough to warrant you as a solution. So you need to go back, you need to redo discovery, and you need to dig back in. And this is like the hardest part. And I think like a lot of people miss on this, and it sounds things like this, like, oh, we're going to start in a couple months, or, oh, we're going to do this maybe next year. This is a 2024 thing or whatever. Like if someone is pushing it that way, like they're not convinced that their problem, like at its core, they're not convinced that their problem is big enough that they need to actually work with you, which isn't true, because that, all these businesses are getting hacked all the time, cost of downtime, cost of trade secrets getting out, cost of hit on your brand if you get hacked, business slowdown, how you could improve them, how you could actually
But Jimmy, my market is different. I'm not a big enough target. No, it's like, you're absolutely right. Honestly, this is my favorite part. I love sales. I love sales with a passion. Closing is my absolute favorite part. I don't care how much you like sports. Crossing the finish line, crossing home plate, getting into the end zone. That's the fun part. Everything else is just a lead up. And one of the smartest people in my circles, when it comes to sales, taught me a long time ago, they talk to you, ask them up front, what are your concerns? What do you need to get this done? If we can get past this, are you ready to sign today? Are you ready to sign this week? Whatever, create the deadline. Same guy that told me he closes every single deal he's ever started. Some of them close because they don't want the service, and that goes into a drip campaign. And some of them close because he closed the deal and made money. But everyone closes. He's never had he didn't believe in they haven't made a decision, they've ghosted me, so I'm going to leave it open for the next 12 months kind of thing, right? So, and he was very strategic with his time when it came to that, and I always appreciated that.
I mean, I'm pulling the presentation down. It was weird that I couldn't see you. So
I got you. I got you. No, and we have the links for the people that want to see it. I want to take a few minutes because you are so giving of your time and you love talking about that. You have a genuine passion for this stuff. But let's talk about Quickpass a little bit and what Quickpass does. I know this is not a sales thing. I get that. And that's not your style anyway, even if I wanted to, but we're on YouTube, it's recorded. So give us the quick spiel about Quickpass. What is it and how does it help MSPs?
Sure. Yeah. We're Quickpass Cybersecurity. We are privileged access management tool made for MSPs. So we help MSPs secure the most privileged accounts, basically keys to the kingdom, the admin accounts for all of your customers. Say you have a customer, you have 100 customers, they have 20 users each. All of those laptops have local admins, all of that. We help secure those. We can automatically rotate the passwords. We can help create documentation for them. And then we can also automate processes on your help desk, like self-service password reset for your end users, syncing passwords between Office 365 and Active Directory, and identity verification. So if somebody calls into your help desk, sending them a push notification or a code that they can read back to you to make sure they are who they say they are. Basically, at its core, we help MSPs automate areas of their business that are not automated because it has to do with cybersecurity and it is complicated and hard to automate cybersecurity. I think I lost your audio, Ray, or maybe I'm on mute or
It's
something.
muted. I'm always muted at least once every time, and the chat goes wild. Whatchamacallit? And funny enough, I just got a pedal and I got a busy lamp that I'm going to put so in front of me I can see when I'm muted and not muted. But yeah, I'll cover that on a technical deficit or something. But for those that want to reach out to Jimmy, his contact information will be in the show notes below in the show description. Get Quickpass is right there on screen. His LinkedIn is right there on screen. Jimmy, thanks so much, dude. I appreciate you coming and sharing knowledge with us. The presentation's available for download. It'll be in the show notes as well. What do you got coming up next, dude? What are you doing?
The next place that I personally am going to be at is Exchange in March. Our team is going to be all over, though. We have fantastic forum events coming up all over the country. I think most notably Texas and Southern California in the near future. We're going to be in Mexico too for Nerdiocon. We're going to be at ASCII this month, and then I'll be back in action in first week of March at Exchange in Orlando. So a lot coming up from the Quickpass side.
And in May, Quickpass is a sponsor, an enthusiast sponsor of MSP GeekCon. So I will be there. Are you going to be out there, or is it going to be Cynthia and others, or what?
Time will tell. We'll see. I might make it out there for that one. As of right now, I believe Cynthia and Scott are heading out, but we'll see. I would like to get out there. Just
Awesome.
Got to check in with the boss.
There you go. Well, thanks so much, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Until next time, Simon, why don't we get the upcoming events so we can tell everybody else what's going on this week? We have tomorrow, we have the MSP Dispatch Week wrap up presented by MSP Media Network. We have on the 16th Tech Bar podcast, episode 52 with Cynthia Schreiner and Scott Davis, both of Quickpass, on February 22nd to the 24th in-person event, Right of Boom at Dallas, Texas. I will be there, Simon and a few others from OIT. And then on March 2nd at 6:30 p.m., Tech Bar podcast, episode 53 with our good friends, and actually channel influencer of the year. I think that's what Channel Pro called him, Paco LeBron and Rick Smith. So thank you everybody for joining us. I apologize for the technical issues. And at least I only was muted once, so I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the information you shared, Jimmy. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care, everybody.
See ya.
This has been a broadcast